Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Mohamed Bazaid. Today I'm going to solve February-March Indian exam paper 2 in 2026. Let's start. In paper 2, the first question says a sample of helium gas is placed in a free moving gas syringe. The temperature of helium increase. So this is the key word. Temperature of helium increase and the pressure of helium doesn't change. Which statement is correct? The first one says the volume of helium decreases. So this is not correct because when temperature increase, the volume of gas increase. He said the volume of helium decrease. So this is not correct. I will cancel letter A. Letter B, the volume of helium decrease again. So this is not correct because when temperature increase, volume should be increased as well. The volume of helium increase, letter C, letter D, the volume of helium increase. So it is C or D. Letter C, the volume of helium increase and the helium atom gets closer together. When you heat the gas, the particles will be further apart. So this is not correct. The correct statement is D. The volume of helium increases, yes, because you increase temperature, and the helium atoms get further apart, yes, because when particles gains more kinetic energy, will move faster, and there will be a large space between the particles in this case. So the answer is letter D. The answer is letter D. Go to next question and let's to see. Here, this is the experiment of diffusion. Here I have hydrochloric acid HCl, and here NH3, which is ammonia. Here I have HCl, hydrochloric acid, and here you have NH3, which is ammonia. The question says, the concentrated hydrochloric acid gives off hydrogen chloride gas, okay, we know that, which dissolve in water to form an acid. The concentrated ammonia gives off ammonia gas, which dissolve in water to form an alkali, which will describe and explain the first change of the universal indicator paper. You have universal indicator paper in the middle of the glass tube. So let's to see. HCl, the mass of HCl, hydrogen is 1, chlorine is 35.5. So the summation is 36.5. This is relative molecular mass of HCl. For NH3, nitrogen is 14 and 3 hydrogen, so the total is 17. So ammonia is 17. As you see, the mass of ammonia is lower than mass of HCl, so ammonia diffuse faster than HCl. Once ammonia reaches the universal indicator, what is the color will be? Course will be blue. So the answer is it is A or C. I will cancel B and I will cancel D. Letter A says molecules of ammonia moves more quickly than molecules of hydrogen chloride. That's true because the mass of ammonia lower than mass of HCl. So the answer is A, and I will cancel C now. So number 2, answer is A. Universal indicator will be blue because there is ammonia here, and ammonia diffuse faster because it has a lower mass. Next question. X-R positive 2 is an ion of a group number 2 element. What has the highest value in the ion? It is the nucleon number. Nucleon number is the summation of proton and neutron. It is the number of electron. As you see, in the ion, number of electron decreases by 2 because it is positive 2. Here, it is number of electron equal number of proton minus 2. It is a number of neutron alone, proton number of proton alone. So the highest value will be the summation of proton and neutron, which is letter A. So the answer of number 3, it is letter A. Question number 4, he asking me about P and Q. P in group number 7 of the periodic table, Q in group number 1. P and Q react together to form a compound. What is the formula of this compound? To write the formula, I will write Q here and P here. Q in group number 1, so I will write 1. P in group number 7, so I will write 1 as well. As you know, if the element in group number 1, 2, 3, or 4, I will write down the same number. If elements in group number 5, I will write down 3. If element in group number 6, I will write 2. If element in group number 7, like element P, I will write 1. Then cross. So the formula will be Q1, P1. Q1, P1. But I don't care about 1 because it is the same number. Cancel. So it will be QP. And the answer is letter A. This is question number 4. Question number 5. Which row describe the properties of simple molecular compound? Simple molecular compound. So this is covalent compound. This is covalent compound. Electrical conductivity at room temperature and pressure. Electrical conductivity at room temperature for covalent compound, it is poor. So the answer is B or C. B or C. As it is simple molecular, so it has a low melting and boiling point, so I will choose letter C. It has a low melting and boiling point, and it is poor conductor of electricity because it is covalent compound. So the answer is letter C. Here, in number 5, answer is letter C. Question number 6, how are the structure of diamond and silicon oxide similar? Diamond and silicon oxide are a giant covalent structure, and it has a strong covalent bond. Letter A, he said molecules of both diamond and silicon oxide are held together by weak attractive forces. This is not correct. It is strong. They both contain atoms arranged in planes held together by weak bond. This is not correct. They both contain ions that are free to move. No, this is not correct because these are giant covalent structure. I cannot say ions. If you check letter D, the carbon in diamond and the silicon in silicon oxide each have 4 covalent bonds. That's true. Why? If you remember, the structure of diamond, each carbon connected with 4 carbon atom, and in silicon, each silicon connected with 4 oxygen atom, and each oxygen connected with 2 silicon. So the answer is letter D. Next question. Solid X and solid Y are both pure substance that contain ions. Both are solid and both contains ions. X is a not electrical conductor. It contains ion and it is solid and doesn't conduct electricity. So this is ionic compound in solid state. Y is an electrical conductor. So this is a metal. Because you know a metal contains positive ions. If you remember the definition of metallic bond. Which statement about X and Y are correct? X is compound and Y is element? Yes, this is true. The ions in X are held in a lattice. The ions in Y are not held in a lattice. So number 2, it is not correct. Number 3, X contain both positive and negative ions? Yes, because this is ionic compound. Y contain positive ions, but no negative ion? Yes, because this is metal. As you remember, in metallic bond, it is attraction forces between positive ions and delocalized electrons. So it has positive ions, but there is no negative ions. A1 and 3. So the answer will be letter C. Letter C. Next question. A sample of magnesium is burned in air. A student calculated that 10 grams of magnesium oxide should be produced. After the reaction, the students determine the percentage yield of magnesium oxide. Which formula is used to determine the percentage yield? If you remember, the percentage yield equal actual yield divided by theoretical multiply with 100. Actual yield, it means the mass of magnesium oxide formed already I have from the reaction. And the theoretical, it means it's expected. Mass of magnesium oxide expected, then multiply 100. So the answer is C. So the formula of percentage yield must be in your mind. Answer is letter C. Question number 9. As you see here, you have 4.55 gram of zinc reacted with 50 cubic centimeter of 2.25 mole per cubic decimeter of hydrochloric acid. The equation for the reaction is shown. The volume of hydrogen gas at room temperature is produced in the reaction. Find the volume of hydrogen. So this is stoichiometry. As you know, volume of hydrogen equal mole multiply 24. But I don't have number of moles of hydrogen. And there is no information about hydrogen, but I have information about what? About magnesium and about hydrochloric acid. In hydrochloric acid, you have the volume and you have the concentration. First of all, I will find the number of moles of hydrochloric acid, then I will make mole-to-mole ratio with hydrogen. Why I don't care about zinc? Because hydrogen produced here, produced from where? From HCl. Look, there is hydrogen here. So I will find number of moles of HCl. I will say moles of HCl. As you see in the question, you have volume and concentration. So I will say you have volume and concentration, yes. So I will say concentration multiply volume. As you see, concentration is 2.25 multiply the volume. What is the volume? As you see, the volume is 50. You have to convert 50 into cubic decimeter. How? Divide by 1000, it will be 0.05. When multiply 0.05 with 2.25, it will be 0.1125. So this is moles of HCl. Now I will make mole-to-mole ratio between HCl and between hydrogen. From the equation, mole-to-mole ratio is 2 to 1. I know moles of HCl, it is 0.1125. So what is the moles of hydrogen? It is unknown. Is to say it is X. So by cross multiplication will be 0.1125 multiply 1, then divide by 2. It will be 0.05625. So this is the number of moles of hydrogen from mole-to-mole ratio. In this equation, I will multiply 0.05625 with a 24. So the answer will be 1.35, which is letter A. This is letter A. Next question, question number 10. As you see here, this is electrolysis, which oxidation is occurring at electrode 1 and reduction at electrode 2. Oxidation occurring at electrode 1. So this is electrode 1. Oxidation occurring here. So what does it mean? This is anode. And reduction at electrode 2. So electrode 2 is cathode. After that, he asking me, as you know, the direction of electrons in the wire starting from anode to cathode. Look what he said. Direction of movement of electrons in electrical circuit, as you see, it started from electrode 1 to electrode 2. Always like this, from anode to cathode, from electrode 1 to electrode 2. So it is A or B. It is A or B. I will cancel C and D. After that, direction of movement of positive ion. Positive ion in the electrolyte here. So positive ion attracted to cathode. So go to electrode number 2. So the answer is letter A. Electrons move from electrode 1 in the wire to electrode 2, and the positive ion attracted from electrode 1 to the cathode. The positive ion always attracted to the cathode. Go to the cathode. Cathode is electrode number 2, so answer is letter A. Question number 11. Which row describe advantage of using hydrogen oxygen fuel cell and advantage of using petrol engine? If you read advantage and disadvantage in the table of comparison between both, you will find letter C, it is correct. Advantage of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell doesn't produce carbon dioxide gas, which causes global warming. And advantage of using petrol engine can travel greater distance after the fuel tank has been filled. So answer is letter C. Okay. Question 12, which statement describe activation energy? So direct, this is the definition of activation energy, is the minimum energy colliding particles must have to react, letter C. Question number 13. Question number 13, hydrogen peroxide decomposes to form water and oxygen. The bond energy are shown in the table. The reaction is exothermic. Reaction is exothermic means delta H should be negative. So I will cancel because he said here, what is enthalpy change for the reaction? I will cancel letter C and I will cancel letter D. Why? Because he said the reaction is exothermic and enthalpy change is negative if the reaction is exo. So answer it is letter A or B. Let's to count. H2O2. H2O2. If you start to find the enthalpy change of this reaction, first of all, we have to draw the bond in H2O2, and we have to draw the bond in H2O, and we have to draw the bond in oxygen, as you see now. To start to draw H2O2, it will be like this. H2O2, H-O-O-H. Because I have two here, I have another one. This will form 2H2O, as you see. Here you have 2H2O, or you can do like this again, no problem. H2O, you have here H2O and another H2O plus O2, which is O double bond O. I will find energy needed to break down the bond, which is energy N equal is to count. Look here, you have O bond H1, you have O bond H the second, O bond H the third, O bond H the fourth. So you have 4 bond O bond H. The value of bond H is 460 plus O bond O. Here this is a bond, here this is a bond. So you have 2 bond, 2 multiply O bond O, it is 150. Let's start to find the summation. First of all, 4 multiply 460, it will be 1840 plus 2 multiply 150, it will be 300. If you add them together, 1840 plus 300, it will be 2140. So this is energy needed to break the bond. It is 2140. This is the energy needed to break the bond. Now, find the energy released when bonds are formed. In the product, O bond H, O bond H, O bond H, O bond H. So I have 4 bonds here. The value of O bond H, it is 460 plus. Here you have O double bond O, which is 496. First of all, find 4 multiply 460 plus 496 equal, this is energy out, this is energy released when bonds are formed, which is 2336. Now, to find energy change, enthalpy change, I mean, delta H, energy needed to break down the bond, which is 2140. 2140 minus 2336. So 2336 equal negative 196. Where is negative 196? It is letter B. So the answer in this equation is letter B. Answer is letter B. Yes, to complete. Question number 14. What is the source of nitrogen and hydrogen for the Haber process? As you know, the source of nitrogen is air, so the answer it is C or D. And the source of hydrogen is methane, and this is in the syllabus, direct. Candidate or student should be able to know the source of hydrogen is air, and the source of nitrogen, sorry, is air, and the source of hydrogen is methane. Sometimes maybe you say natural gas. So because methane is a natural gas, sometimes you will say that, sometimes no. Question 14, which statement about anhydrous salt is correct? Anhydrous salt. Here we are talking about anhydrous salt. If you check letter C, anhydrous copper sulfate, anhydrous, react with water to make hydrated copper sulfate. Yes, anhydrous react with water to form hydrated. If you check letter A, anhydrous cobalt chloride turns from white to blue when added water. No. Cobalt chloride paper turns from blue to pink. From white to blue, this is anhydrous copper sulfate, not cobalt chloride. Anhydrous cobalt chloride loses water. Does it make sense? On gentle heating, doesn't make sense. The statement doesn't make sense. Anhydrous loses water. How come? It is anhydrous, doesn't contain water. If you check letter D, anhydrous copper sulfate turns from blue to white. No, this is the opposite. It is from white to blue should be. So that the correct answer is letter C. Correct answer is letter C. Question 16. The equation represents the reaction of iron 2 sulfate with acidified aqueous potassium manganate. Which ion is reduced? And what is the reducing agent? And what is the reducing agent? If you check here in manganate to find the oxidation number of manganate, Mn in MnO4. So I will say Mn, because this is a transition element, has a variable oxidation state. I don't know which oxidation state here. So Mn plus, it is O4. Oxidation number of oxygen is -2. So -2 multiplied by 4, it will be -8. All of this equal, look here, you have a negative charge. So it means equal -1. Don't write equal 0 because you have a charge here as you see. So Mn equal -1 plus 8 because I will take -8 to be here as a positive. So -1 plus 8. So manganese here will be a +7. Manganese here will be a +7. If you check, manganese is +7, turns to be +2. Oxidation number decreases. So this is what? This is reduction process. Why reduction? Because oxidation number decrease from +7 to a +2. Ion reduced, so it should be MnO4. So the answer is C or D. If you check here for iron, it is Fe positive 2 turns to be Fe positive 3. So this is oxidation. Why? Because oxidation number of iron increases from positive 2 to positive 3. Iron has been oxidized. Because iron is oxidized, so it is a reducing agent. So the answer is letter C. MnO4 ion reduced, and reducing agent is Fe positive 2 because it is oxidized, as you know. The substance which has been oxidized, it is the reducing agent. And the substance which has been reduced, it is the oxidizing agent. So the answer in this question is letter C. Which statement about aqueous hydrochloric acid are correct? It is completely dissociated in aqueous solution. Yes, because it is a strong acid. Hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, both are strong acids, means completely dissociated or completely ionized in the solution. It turns thymolphyserine blue. This is not correct. Thymolphyserine in acidic medium is not a blue. This is in alkaline medium. It reacts as a strong acid in aqueous solution. Yes. It produces OH ions. Does it make sense? You are talking about acid. How come you say it produces OH? This is alkali. So the answer is 1 and 3, which is letter A. Question 18. Sulfuric acid dissociated in water in 2 stages. The equation for each stage are shown. As you see, the first, the second. Which statement about these equations are correct? The first one. HSO4 minus, this one, can donate and accept proton. Can donate and accept proton. Yes. As you see here, in the reversible reaction, it can accept proton. In the reversible reaction, HSO4 minus accept proton to form H2SO4. And in the second equation, it can donate H positive to form SO4 minus 2. So number 1, it is correct. Number 2, H2SO4 is a proton donor. If you check equation number 1, H2SO4 produces H positive, so this is correct. So 1 and 2 is correct. Which letter? A. Which letter? A. Question 19. Which statement about amphoteric oxide is correct? As you know, amphoteric oxide, from its definition, react with both acid and base to form salt and water. Maybe you are confused between B and C, but letter C says they react with acid and the bases. Yes, true. To form salt, true. And hydrogen, oh no, yeah, it is not correct. To form salt and water, so letter B is correct. Question 20, which property of elements increases across a period of the periodic table? Across the period, number of electron shells, number of outer shell electrons increase, because you know, across the period, if you are moved in a group number 1, so in the outer shell you have 1 electron. In a group number 2, in the outer shell you have 2 electron. In a group number 3, in the outer shell you have 3 electron. In a group number 4, the outer shell you have 4 electrons. So number of electron shells, number of outer shell electrons increase. So this is true. Letter C is correct. 21. Which two compounds react together to form the insoluble salt? As you see, insoluble salt, to form insoluble salt, you have mixed soluble with soluble. And I said many, many times, soluble with soluble always take nitrate and sodium. So I will take here lead nitrate because it is soluble in water with sodium chloride, which is soluble. So 1 and 4 will form insoluble salt, which is letter B. Answer is letter B. Remember, to form insoluble salt, you have mixed together soluble with soluble, soluble with soluble. And remember, any nitrate salt is soluble and any sodium salt is soluble. In 21, answer is letter B. 22. Which statement describe properties of a transition element? They form white compounds only? No, no. As you know, it's formed colored compounds. So number one, it is not correct. So I will cancel number one. Cancellation of number one means I don't care about A and I don't care about B because both contains number one, which I know it is not correct. After that, they are ductile. Yes, any metal is ductile. They have a high density. Yes, of course. This is correct. Letter 4, it doesn't make sense. They form positive ion by gaining electrons? No, by gaining electrons. Negative ion will form not a positive ion. So number 4, it is not correct as well. So the answer is 2 and 3, which is letter C. Question 23. Which statement explain why aluminium has a good resistance to corrosion? As you know, aluminium has a layer of aluminium oxide on its surface. So aluminium has an oxide layer on its surface. This is the true one. Letter B is correct. Coating iron help to prevent rusting. Which coating will continue to protect the iron even when the coating is damaged? This is sacrificial protection. And as you know, sacrificial protection by zinc. So 24, answer is D. Which statement about the substance in water from natural sources are correct? Which statements are correct? If you read the statements, you will find number 2, so it contains harmful microbes that cause disease. Yes, that's true. Number 4, fertilizers contains nitrate and phosphate, which damage aquatic life. So this is correct as well. Number 3, it is not correct because all metal compounds are toxic. Does it make sense? Not all metals compounds are toxic? No. Number 3, it is not correct. At number 1, it is not correct as well. So the answer is 2 and 4. So the answer is letter D in question 25. Let's move on 26. The diagram represents process X, Y, and Z and their effect Z. So Z is the effect of X and Y in increasing global warming. Here you have emission of thermal energy from the Earth. Which row identify X, Y, and Z? X, X. X, as you know, emission of thermal energy from the Earth. Of course, X will absorb thermal energy by greenhouse gas. Where is absorption of thermal energy by greenhouse gas? As you see, so it is letter A or letter C. Then Y. Emission of thermal energy to the Earth. Emission of thermal energy to the Earth is still, I confuse, it is A or C. Finally, if you check letter Z, he said, reduced thermal energy loses to the space, or increased thermal energy lost to space. Of course, greenhouse gases reduce thermal energy lost to space. And this is a problem actually, because the greenhouse gases absorb energy and reduced thermal energy goes to the space. This is called global warming around the Earth. So the answer is letter A. In the 26, answer is letter A. 27. Which equation describes the formation of two atmospheric pollutants that are not present in clean air? Not present in clean air. As you know, carbon dioxide is present in clean, dry air. So I will cancel letter A because there is carbon dioxide, which is present. The question needs not present in clean air. And I will cancel letter C as well because it has carbon dioxide, which is present in clean air. And I will cancel letter B because it has carbon dioxide, which is present. The question needs that are not present in clean air. What are the two atmospheric pollutants which are not present in clean air? This is carbon dioxide, not present in clean air, and particulate, which is carbon as well. So the answer is D for question 27. 28. Some of the fractions obtained from the fractional distillation of petroleum are used as a fuel for vehicle. If you remember, refinery gas, gasoline, naphtha, kerosene, diesel oil, fuel oil, lubricating fraction, and bitumen. You have to know the arrangement and the uses of each one. Based on that, gasoline fraction and kerosene fraction used as a fuel. This is for cars, if you remember. So the answer is letter C. Fractions which used as a fuel for vehicles, gasoline, and kerosene. The separate formula of a butanoic acid is shown. So this is meth-eth-propibutte. This is butanoic acid. Butanoic acid reacts with ethanol to form an ester. What is the structure formula and the empirical formula of the ester? First of all, we need to know what is the ester. As you see, this is the structure of butanoic acid. React with ethanol, meth, eth. And here I have OH, isn't it? This is ethanol. What will happen after that? Elimination of water. How? Remove OH from the acid with H from the alcohol. Now, what you have? I have CH3, CH2, CH2, COO, CH2, CH3. Let's to write. The ester is CH3, start from the left. CH2, CH2, COO, CH2, CH3. This is the structure of the ester. Okay. If you start to count here, how many carbon you have? Look, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I can say C3. How many H? H3 and H2 and H2. So it is H7. So C3, H7, then complete COO. COO. Here you have C, and here you have C, so 2 carbon, and H3 and H2, so it will be C2H5. C2H5. C3, H7, COO, C2H5. Why I said C3? Because first of all, I wrote the formula. Look here, 1, 2, 3. So C3, H2, H2. So it is 4, H3, it is H7. Then COO as it is. After that, here you have C and C. It is C2, H3 and H2. So it is H5. So the structural formula may be, no, it is exactly A or B. A or B. To find the empirical formula, I have to write the molecular, then simplify. To write the molecular, count how many carbons, the total number of carbon atoms here you have. C3 and the C, it is C4, and the C2, it is C6. How many hydrogen? How many hydrogen you have? So it is H7 and H5, H12, and O2. If you simplify, how you simplify? Divide all of this number by 2, by 2, by 2. It will be C3, H6O, which is in letter B. So structural formula is C3H7, COO, C2H5, and after you simplify the molecular, it is C3H6O. So this is the answer of letter or of equation 29. Answer is letter B. Next one. What is the structural formula of a propan 1-ol? 1-ol. 1-ol, it means OH connected with the first carbon. Letter A, as you see, letter A, C3H7OH, but I don't know OH connected with the first or the second carbon. I don't know that. But if you check letter B, look, OH connected with the first carbon. So the answer is letter B. I don't care about letter C because this is the molecular formula, not the structural formula. And I don't care about letter D because this is the because this is the general formula. This is the general formula of alcohol. Propan 1-ol, letter B, OH connected with the first carbon, as you see. I will not choose letter A because I don't know where is OH connected with which carbon. He didn't mention that in the structure. So 30, letter B. 31. Alkene can undergo addition reaction with aqueous bromine, hydrogen, or steam. Which reactions of ethene needs a catalyst? With aqueous bromine? No. This is the test of alkene. It happened at room temperature without any catalyst. But if you add steam to alkene to form alcohol, you need acid. You need acid, phosphoric acid as a catalyst. And if you add hydrogen, you need nickel as a catalyst. So 1 and 3, sorry, number 1, not correct. 2 and 3 is correct, which is letter D. 2 and 3. With the steam, I need phosphoric acid to form alcohol. And with the hydrogen, I need a nickel to form alkane. 31, answer is letter D. Which conditions are used to manufacture ethanol by fermentation? As you know, the conditions in fermentation, temperature from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. So answer is 30 here. And we need a yeast which act as a catalyst. So answer is letter D. 300 degrees Celsius? No, it is not by with fermentation. This is with hydration of ethene. So the temperature 30 and the catalyst is yeast. So 32 answer is letter D. 33. Which statement about an aqueous solution of ethanoic acid is correct? Ethanoic acid. It reacts with magnesium to form water? No. When metal, like magnesium, react with acid, it will form hydrogen gas. How come you say water? So letter A, it is not correct. Magnesium with ethanoic acid will form magnesium ethanoate plus hydrogen. I don't have water to form. It reacts with sodium carbonate to form carbon dioxide. Yes, we said before, any acid with carbonate will form salt and carbon dioxide and water. So letter B is correct. It reacts with sodium hydroxide to form hydrogen. No, it is not correct. It will form sodium ethanoate and water. It turns red litmus paper blue. Acid turn litmus paper blue. Does it make sense? Acid turn litmus paper red. Letter D is not correct. So the only answer which is correct is letter B. Next question. Which statement explain why plastic should be recycled? Why plastic should be recycled? If you read number 1, most do not decompose when they are added to landfill. Yes, most of plastics are non-biodegradable. They pollute rivers and the ocean where they harm wildlife. Yes. They can produce toxic gases when they are burned. Yes. So 1, 2, and 3. Yes. So letter A. Yes. Letter A is correct. Which statement about the plastic PET are correct? PET is a condensation polymerization. Yes. This is condensation polymerization. PET is a polyamide. No. PET is a polyester. PET can be converted into the monomers and re-polymerized and re-polymerized. Yes. So 1 and 3, I mean letter C is correct. I mean letter C is correct. Question 36. The diagram represent a part structure of protein. 3 atoms have been labeled X, Y, and Z. Which elements are X, Y, and Z? If you remember, in the structure of protein, I have on the right C double bond O, and on the left I have NH connected with another box. Connected with another box. Here it has NH, and here I have C double bond O as well. If you check letter C, C connected with what? What is X? Look, C connected with oxygen. X connected, C connected with oxygen, so X is oxygen, so it is C or D. Regarding Y, N connected with what? With hydrogen. So Y is hydrogen. In both Y is hydrogen. And finally, Z. What is Z? Z, he means this one. What is Z? As you see, Z is nitrogen. So this one is nitrogen. This one is nitrogen. So the answer is letter C. This question depends on the structure of protein. So you have to revise the structure of nylon, the structure of protein, and the structure of PET or polyethylene, I mean, polyester, which is polyester. So letter C, 36, answer is letter C. 37, locating agent. Oh, locating agent. This is the substance which I use to convert invisible spots to be visible in paper chromatograph are often used in paper chromatography, which mixture requires a locating agent. A mixture of two colorless substance? Of course, yes. So the answer is correct. I will choose letter A and go to question 38. But please to say letter B, it is not correct. Why? A mixture of two insoluble substance? No. Locating agent, he don't care about insoluble. Locating agent used for colorless substance. A mixture of two different colors? No. A mixture of two substances that are the same color? No. If there is a color, no need to use locating agent. Using locating agent, what does it mean? You have a colorless substance, which is letter A. 38. A blue solid Q is soluble in water. So you have a water, and this water contains Q, which is soluble. Which method is used to obtain pure solid Q, which is soluble in water from aqueous solution? Of course, crystallization. Crystallization. To obtain crystals, to obtain a solid for soluble substance in water, you can use a crystallization process. 39. Two test tube, each contain a sample of water. So I have two test tube. Test tube 1 contains water. Test tube 2, which contains water as well. One test tube contains pure water, but the other test tube contains water and dissolved sodium chloride. So this is water with NaCl. I have water and NaCl. But in test tube number 1, I have H2O only. Which test may be used to identify the test tube that contains pure water? As you know, to test the purity of water, we are using the measuring of boiling point. If boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius, so the water sample is a pure. Number one, he says, measure the boiling point of each water sample. Yes, this is true. Number one, true. So answer is letter A or letter B. I will cancel C because it doesn't contain one, and I cancel D because it doesn't contain one as well. Test each sample with acidified aqueous silver nitrate. Test each sample with acidified aqueous silver nitrate. Yes, I can do that. Why? Because in test 2, there is sodium chloride. You have chloride. And this is a test for halide. If you remember, when you add acidified silver nitrate and there is a chloride, a white precipitate will form. A white precipitate will form. So I can use number 2 as a test for the purity of water. So it is 1 and 2. So I will cancel letter B. So the answer will be letter A. Finally, question number 40. The result of some test on dilute aqueous solution X are shown. When you add aqueous ammonia dropwise, a white precipitate, then add aqueous ammonia in excess, precipitate dissolve to form colorless solution. If you add aqueous sodium hydroxide, a white precipitate again, and you have excess sodium hydroxide, a precipitate dissolve to form colorless solution. So this question depends on the test of cation, anion, and gases, and you have to memorize this test. You have to memorize this test. As you see, we have 2 questions in this exam about the test of cation, anion, and the gases table. So which cation form white precipitate with both and dissolve in excess? This is zinc ion. So which cation is present in X is Zn positive 2. This is a solving of February-March 2026 exam paper, Indian exam. For more informations and more videos and more explanation, feel free to follow Facebook page IGCSE Chemistry Mohamed Bazaid and join my WhatsApp groups. And if you have any question, feel free to send in my WhatsApp group. Thank you for attending us today. Best of luck. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.